Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you back to the Freestyle Chess Championship here in February of 2024. Today is the second day of the semifinals. We have Magnus taking on Abdusattorov, the Uzbek phenom. We also have Fabiano Caruana fighting to stay alive against Aronian, and the winners of those two matchups will move on to the finals, which begin tomorrow. This was an unbelievable day of games. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to share it with you. Before I do, it's also Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to you and your loved ones, as well as, your future loved ones. I'm wishing all of you find love someday. To celebrate Valentine's Day, all my courses are 25% off, and my Scandinavian course dropped today. I'll put a link to it in the description. I've been loving the Scandinavian defense recently. I've been winning like 80% of my games with it, and I've made a new course. So check it out. If you're interested, there's a free sample, so you could get it for free. Just go try it for free. No strings attached. But it's 100% free. I'm not lying to you. So definitely try the Scandinavian and get a course for 25% off for Valentine's Day. Here we go. Alireza, so we're going to move along through the 5th through 8th place, then I'm going to show you Magnus, then I'm going to take you on a crazy journey. Alireza Firouzja leads 1-0 versus Dingley Ren. Dingley Ren has played 10 games in this event. He has 2 draws and 8 losses. I mean, you would have a score you'd have 10 losses, but, it's very close, and that's really shocking. So Dingley Ren is playing with the black pieces. He has to beat Alireza to stay alive. He kind of plays like a Scandinavian, which is very interesting. Take. Except it's not really a Scandinavian, but the first, these moves are like a Scandinavian. Now, normally white plays knight c3, but white doesn't have a knight there. If you're confused what's going on, they're playing chess 960 or Fischer random or freestyle chess. And they are drawing the position before every single game. Queen a5, and Alireza says, listen, Ding, you can't beat me if we trade queens so quickly. My position is a lot less risky. d5, Ding plays e5, and now a very surprising move here from Alireza, who doesn't preserve his pawn, but rather takes en passant. Now, Ding very quickly plays rook c6, but again, remember, Alireza just has to not lose. He doesn't have to win. He just has to not lose. So he plays long castle. Ding also long castles. That's not through a check, by the way. The rook just plops there. And now Alireza just plays like this, and yeah, this is the position after 13 moves. No queens, no rooks, no service. Bishop h2, bishop d6, b3, king d2. And yeah, the recap of this game is going to be very quick as the players literally trade all their pieces. Black has a very tiny advantage because of an outside pass pawn. But, they play a little while and Ding puts a little bit of pressure and is definitely better in the knight endgame. Like Ding with his outside pass pawn is definitely going to put some pressure, but yeah, he is still winless. And by the way, if you're confused what happened there, that was, I don't know. I don't know why they decided to end the game like this and not here, but yeah, Alireza knocks out Ding. So Ding can only get 7th or 8th place, or I don't know if he's even going to play a match for 7th and 8th place, but yeah, he has 3 draws and 8 defeats, and it is a shocking turn of events. Now, the other 5th through 8th place match is this one between Keymer and Gukesh. Yesterday, Vincent Keymer absolutely obliterated Gukesh. He played a beautiful game. I mean, it's really difficult. Like, if you didn't make it to the finals, to motivate yourself to try to play in these matchups, but, it is what it is, and that's what they're doing. And Vincent plays kind of a stonewall. So, again, previous game was like a Scandinavian. So these guys are just inventing opening theory as we go. f4, right? We bring out a bunch of the pawns, and Vincent just hates his light squares. I mean, Vincent puts every pawn on a dark square. I don't know what he's going to do with the bishop. Clearly, neither does he, but I'm not the one playing the game. I'm the one commentating it like an hour. Well, no, it's been about 4 hours. I was driving my wife to the airport today, and something really interesting happened when I was driving her to the airport. The GPS died. Like, that's happened before, but usually it comes back, and this time it just completely died, and I was like, oh, I know the way home, and I did. But not for the first 20 minutes. I just took a wrong turn. That was crazy. Did anybody else Google Maps die today? Or is that just me? Knight takes, bishop takes, knight to h6. You'll notice that, Keymer says, hey, take my pawn. Gukesh is like, no, you take my pawn. Keymer's like, okay. But, yeah, Vincent moved his king. The king did not start over there. And now Gukesh is like, boink. Yeah, and Vincent is about to really pay the price for having an active king in Fischer Random, because that's not really what you want. So he runs it over here. Gukesh puts his knight on g4, and hello, here come the bishops. He's either going to open things up or target this pawn with the bishop on h6. It's a really dangerous position. And then he grabs the bishop to take like this. And who's going to guard the pawn on e3? Well, if it's the queen, take. Look at this gangster move. Undeveloping the queen to the 8th rank, and nobody can guard the pawn. Nobody. If you play knight to f4, which blocks, I take the knight, and then I take the bishop. And that's really bad. So he undevelops. He hasn't touched these pieces. So Gukesh is winning this game despite not using either of his rooks, which is badass, by the way. Rook c3, bishop e3. He picks up both of these. What a move. If you take, I have this. Vincent tries to create some counterplay here, but just the speed at which Gukesh neutralizes everything, grabs himself a rook. His king is completely safe. Queen comes back, he trades the queens, and this is easy peasy. Look at that, pinning the knight to the rook, and Gukesh wins. So Gukesh wins on demand, and in freestyle chess, in this event, what happens is they break ties that are 1-to-1 with rapid chess. So now they sit down, Gukesh just won with black, which, winning with black is impressive anyway, because you don't really get to go first, but there's an argument to be made that black is actually better in Fischer Random, which is kind of wild. So in this version that they played, they now speed things up to break the tie. The king is like, you could castle, by the way. That's the legal first move. White actually chose to castle on the second move, which is funny. The bishops will probably come out, in their traditional way. I imagine something like this. Gukesh does it this way. So he tries to just open the diagonals like this. DE, queen e4, and queen e2, and he's going to put his bishops on c2. He's going to have a very nice life. Here come the knights, right? We love knights. And Vincent says, okay, let's make something happen in the center of the board. Take, bishop g5, though. Targeting the knight that's going to open up the king, because Vincent castled. No thank you. Bishop comes off the home rank. Now we just have a normal-looking position, except it looks like black's queen fell asleep in a field somewhere. I mean, the position just kind of looks like you played regular chess. Both guys castled and got their pieces out, but somehow the queen fell asleep and woke up, locked behind two bishops. I don't know how that happened. And now, Gukesh, his mission is to make sure the queen doesn't get into the game in time. The queen, it will get into the game, but in getting into the game, Gukesh will now get a little bit of an advantage. He's got 5 minutes. He's got a blitz game amount of time. Oh my, what a sophisticated idea. One step all the way back and slides out, and that bishop is an absolute monster on b2. Bishop a5, b4. Both guys are about, are trending. Their time is getting a little bit lower. a3, around that 3-minute mark, but Vincent at a minute now. Trying to create some counterplay on the queen side. Gukesh takes. I'm not sure that was the best trade, but opposite colored bishops do benefit the attacking side. Okay. Queen c3, we threatened mate. He defended it. Damn, oh my, what just happened to Gukesh's time? Hold up. I was just talking, Gukesh at 3 minutes. In the span of 3 moves, he got 28 seconds. Now this is just a lottery. I mean, this is basically like a roulette. I mean, like, this is like the equivalent of going to a casino and putting it on red. Bishop c2, rook d7. Both guys at around 20 seconds. What a move. Queen e6 check. With the idea in this position to sack the rook and get in and mate the king. Queen e6, and if you trade queens with me, who's guarding g7? I got news for you, it's nobody. And in this position, Vincent Keymer resigns, and Gukesh completes the comeback. He lost yesterday, but he wins 2 games on demand, he wins the rapid tiebreak, and he qualifies to a 5th and 6th place match. And Vincent probably has to play Ding, I think. Now, we've arrived at our main event of the evening. You were just about to click away because you didn't get your daily dose of Magnus, but if there's one place on the internet you're going to get your daily dose of Magnus, it's right here. Magnus Carlsen, yesterday, taking down Nojibek Abdusattorov in a very tense battle. Very, very tense battle. Today, Nojibek has to win the same position that I just showed you. We just saw a Scandinavian. We just saw Vincent play a Stonewall, okay? And in this game, Nojibek just grabs as much central space as he possibly can, all right? So the first move caused Magnus to think for a little bit. The Dutch, by the way, we do see d4, f5 a lot in Chess 960, this type of setup. Just counteracting the other side, taking a little bit of space from the other side, c4, and Magnus strikes back right away. Now, if Nojibek had taken, by the way, I don't think Magnus would have gone here. Because that walks directly into some stuff. That could walk into like various gambits. And I think Magnus even went to the confession booth and said like, he would have just gone e5. He would have just tried to take space. And then if white tries to hang on to his pawns, you can't. Because you're just getting viciously undermined from all sides. You have a3, there's take. Now you can't castle. Now your king is stuck in the corner forever. I mean, this doesn't work, but you know, it doesn't lose. Right? And Nojibek has to win, okay? So d6. Magnus plays g6, puts his bishop out, and gets this little Tetris piece of pieces mobilized. Very tense position. Nojibek thinks for a bit, plays g4. Just as many pieces forward as possible. Magnus strikes back in the center. All right, we're about to have an explosion. d5. The rook is about to open up. The queen is about to open up. Keep in mind, Nojibek has to win the game. So he has to find a way to neutralize, but not trade too many pieces. So he takes on c5. Magnus brings the rook out. So now the queen has to slide out of the home square, and that will allow black to castle queenside. You can't castle short side anymore because first of all, you have a bishop there, but also that rook was going to be used for that. So knight e5. I do like that move. Trying to get a position like this, where you're dislodging the knight from the center, but he puts the knight directly into the center and asks you what you're going to do about it. It might have been a little bit better here to maybe lock down the position with a move like d5, but it's really hard to do that because you just, I mean, like, what about your bishop, right? Now, if we fast forward to like here, you know, white is better for sure because white's going to, you know, continue to advance, but he doesn't have that time. So knight e4, we have take, and now it's just a position of bishops. So these guys hate their horses. Bishop to h2, lining up an attack on Magnus's king. Magnus blocks his attack on the king with queen c7. The queen plays defense against the attack. Queen a4, looking to sneak in here and disallowing long castle, because then you would be blundering the a7 pawn. So Magnus plays b5. Oh my. And you can't take, because that's literally checkmate. So Magnus is just the pawn up. Oh my goodness. It has all gone completely wrong. From this position, Nojibek tried to pick a fight, but, you know, even though we're playing freestyle chess or chess 960 or whatever you want to call it, principles still apply. And one of the most important principles in chess is to deal with a flank attack. The best and most principled way is in the center of the board. And when it's all said and done, suddenly Magnus has a massive advantage. Queen c3, bishop e6, bishop e2, king slides up to b7. Remember, Nojibek still has to win the game. He darts his king across the board. Magnus plays queen b6. They clash. Magnus shuts it down on that side of the board. Rook b1, rook c1. I don't think there's a whole lot here. Now there's no queen on the board. Nojibek's still trying. He's kicking. Here comes rook b5, but Magnus is just slowly stripping away his defenses. I mean, you're not going to beat Magnus with no pieces on the board, and you sure as hell are not going to beat him with less pawns. Bishop g3, h6, Magnus locks it up. I think that's it. I mean, if Nojibek could somehow play a Yu-Gi-Oh card and get a knight on that square, he might win. I mean, a queen there would be even better. But in this position, rather than even trying to play for the win, which he probably can do. I mean, he can play like here and here and here. I mean, at black, it looks like a fortress. I mean, it looks like, you know, even if both sides, let's just say, trade like this, I mean, this is a draw, but only black can win. I'm saying, like, you know, you play king d2. I think it should be a win for black. I don't exactly see how you would do it, especially if black plays like here. Black plays e6, it's just a draw. Maybe there is a way to win it, like to break through the fortress, but yeah, the players just agree to a draw, and Magnus Carlsen is your first finalist. Now, a lot of you are going to leave because I showed you the Magnus game, but he's on fire. I mean, he's unstoppable. He's clearly found his form. Magnus needs an opponent. Yeah, you guys may want to, like, grab a snack, because we ain't done. So, I mean, I'm spoiling a little bit here. Actually, quite literally, a lot. Let me just make sure every game is, you know, if you've been following the tournament closely, you know Levon won yesterday, okay? You know he won yesterday. And if he wins or draws this game, it's Magnus Levon in the final. Now, I literally just showed you the final position, but as you can probably tell from my tone of voice, it's not that simple. Fabiano Caruana plays a completely unique way in an opening that we haven't seen yet. Remember, Levon's just trying to make sure that he doesn't lose the game. Fabiano gets into a position which is like rock solid, and Levon is very much in the like no-lose approach. What? Yeah, A4, and in the span of 3 moves, Levon just loses his C5 pawn. I was so excited I just spat, so you can instant replay it. Now, if you ask me, why didn't Levon go here? I think he didn't like Queen A6 very much. But a move ago, it's just a deadlock, and he just loses the C5 pawn to get counterplay on the C file. But suddenly, as it turns out, winning this pawn back is not that good. And Rook C1 is a devastating threat. I think Levon just thought he has he's gonna win the pawn back and he's gonna be fine. Or Levon just wanted more content for the Gotham recap. I mean, really, I don't know one way or another. B6, and this does not look like a pleasant position. I mean, it looks like you did not pay your rent for about 6 months. And you got the landlords, right, mafia style, on both sides, knocking on the door. And this one doesn't go much longer. Queen C6, Rook D1, Fabiano marches his king up to A3. Levon tries to create counterplay on that side of the board. That's as much counterplay as he created. Now his king tries to escape. Oh my god, what a move. And when it's all said and done, Fabiano Caruana brutally knocks everything down. Queen B6 is made on the next move. We're going to a playoff. And we are going to a playoff. So, first, these gentlemen are going to play 15-minute chess. All right? D4, D5, C3, castles, bishop C2, knight G6, knight G3. They get their knights out. By the way, it's the Gukesh game, right? It's the Gukesh game. It's kind of like, it looks exactly like the Gukesh game. So castles, bishop G4, and Levon takes on G6. He gives up his light squared bishop, and the reason he does that is to get dark squared control and put his bishop here and play E3 and bring his queen, and it looks like a London-ish. I mean, it looks like white played a London-ish. Take. Fabiano goes for the opposite colored bishops because he's a principled man. He doesn't want to lose the game, he wants to be stable. He plays F6. All right, F3, bishop F5. Now B5, B3, holding him back. C4, opening up the C file, trying to create some counterplay, and on the very next move, this was nuts. Fabiano took the pawn on C4 and said, I'm going to be up a pawn. Levon said, you're going to be up a pawn, and you're going to be up 1 migraine. E4, push you back. Let's trade the queens so I can target those doubled C pawns. Fabiano's like, all right, do it. Take the queen if you're so smart. I didn't know I was playing Magnus Aronian. Bishop to E6. A4, Levon just casually improving his position. Fabiano has a 3-minute time advantage on the clock with 4 minutes and 23 seconds. I just saw the number 4. I got very excited. Rook D7, Rook B2, Knight B7, Queen A3, and now Fabiano is taking over the game. But Levon, 27 seconds on the clock, rips open the position of the board, and counterplay is being created, but Fabiano is looking to clean this one up, and he will. Rook E2, A5, pushing back the queen. Here comes black, bishop F2, and that's it. Levon on the verge of resigning. Fabiano now 2 pawns up. Rook takes E7. Queen D2, Queen A3. Wait a minute, wait a minute, it's not so clear. Queen D4, Rook D8. Wait a minute, now Fabi's got 20 seconds. Uh-oh. But he's still in control. He hung his rook. Fabiano Caruana hung his rook in 1 move. Oh my goodness. Rook B8. The nerves, the pressure, the heart rate. They're wearing these heart rate monitors. These guys have heart rates of like 160. And Fabi plays Rook B8, clearly setting up ideas like C3. I mean, he probably saw this and Queen B1, and, you know, that doesn't look particularly pleasant. Plays Rook B8 and straight up loses the game in 1 move. Now, obviously, Levon still has to clean it up, but he does. He brings the queen back, and yes, Fabiano can still create counterplay, but after you blunder that, you are not saving the game. And in this position, he resides in, out of nowhere, Levon Aronian wins the first rapid game. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now Fabiano Caruana on full tilt. I mean, absolute full tilt. B4. We got a brand new position, by the way. So not only is he tilted, he can't even get revenge in the position that they just played, because in freestyle chess, you go in front of a goofy big monitor, and then it tells you what you're playing. I'm not criticizing the event. I'm saying when the players play in these Chess 960 Fisher Random events, they literally get given a brand new position, so you have no advantages. You can't play against your opponent's repertoire. You just got a 15-minute game, and you got to figure it out. B4. Bishop B2. Bro plays Queen E4. This straight up looks like ChatGPT is playing chess. And if you haven't seen my videos about ChatGPT playing chess, it's not chess. I don't know what it is, but it ain't chess. A3. G3. Long castles by Levon. Levon is looking for a fight even when he doesn't need a fight. Levon is the fighter who is in the 5th round of a fight. He's won 4 rounds. He's still trying to go for the knockout. Knight G4. Bro, Levon really thinks Fabiano's gonna blunder Bishop F3 and Queen H2. That is wild stuff. Knight E5. Clearly, by the way, from the time expenditure, Queen E4, Queen F5, Queen H5, Queen E5 ain't it. And Fabiano now is like, bro, A4. Like, let's go. A4. I mean, I don't even understand. Levon put his king here. It's honestly as if Levon is playing in a way like, if I lose, at least we get to play more games. Like, literally, I think Levon just really likes the format. Fabi plays D5. The move D5 just gets into the black position, stops this knight from getting out, and cuts all the circulation. G5, A5. How are you going to defend this position? Bishop takes, and now B5. That's how you're going to defend. Look at that. He locked it all down. No. How is Fabi going to attack now? Well, he plays Bishop G7, winning a tempo, and now, despite this move having no protection, C4. The idea of C4 is very brute. It's just to get stuff going on the C file. It's very brute. And if you don't take me, I'm gonna take you. Look at this! Oh my goodness, apocalyptic level attack on the other side of the board. Fabiano's gonna be very careful. He plays H4 to keep the queen out. Take. Rook F1. Now Queen F1. His bishop is under attack. Fabiano's got 40 seconds. Oh! Whoa. Fabi had 9 minutes versus 5, and all of a sudden, he is under a minute versus 3.5. Fabiano's losing the thread again. Oh my goodness, Queen F1. Levon's on a massive comeback. By the way, the bishop was hanging, but you couldn't take it. If you took it, A7, that was brutal. Knight A6. But Fabiano is still in the driver's seat with a monstrous attack. Queen takes G7. Queen takes B4. Levon darts over here, but Fabiano... Rook B2. And Levon will live to regret the day that on the 5th move, he committed his king to a beach house when global sea levels are rising and he doesn't have flood insurance. Fabiano wins the 2nd game. And now it is 2-2. And to break the tie again, we go to even faster chess. We make these boys play 5 minutes. By the way, Magnus Carlsen is sitting somewhere at this German resort with his significant other, who he has been widely documented traveling with. You know, I cover Magnus's games. I'm not going to cover his personal life, all right? So even I have limits. He's probably sitting somewhere on this big resort going, you know, who is going to be next? Who's next? These guys are just brutally beating each other up, you know, and he just like won the fight, you know, easily. All right, this next game has bishops in the corners, so you got to open them up, right? So these guys, they just right away, they get the bishops opened up. G3, there we go. In fact, they just say no bishops. From the very beginning, they just say, you know what? No bishops. C4, G6. How about the fact that they have to play with a brand new set of pieces with 5 minutes on the clock? Isn't that nerve-wracking? I mean, there is a lot of secret conversation here, silent conversation of like, can we get to a position that looks like a regular chess game? And yeah, I mean, now we kind of have one. E5, now it's just a blitz game. D4 from Levon, Knight E7 from Fabiano, and Fabiano might be cooking up some stuff. Knight F3, he plays E4. Levon has to go Knight G5. All of a sudden, Levon's down to 39 seconds himself. Like, we've seen Fabiano low on time. Now Levon's got no time. Knight D5, sacrificing a pawn, but Knight C3. So Fabiano picks up a rook. Levon now has a knight and a pawn, but oh my goodness, I'll be damned. In blitz chess, knights are so tricky. And Levon does an unbelievable... Look at what Levon does from this point forward. He stabilizes everything. H4, king H2, king G2. Fabiano bulldozes down that side of the board. But Levon's not going away. And now both guys are down to almost no time. Levon is getting 2-second bonus every time he makes a move. Fabiano plays queen A3. Levon plays E4, but rook A8. And this was Fabiano's cleanest game thus far, as he plays queen to A1. And if you take and take, the knight can't stop the b-pawn. Fabiano cleans up. Clearly a dominant first blitz game. This is Fabi's first lead of the match. He leads 3-2. That was out of nowhere. That was like easily his cleanest game thus far. And now he's going to put it away. The last blitz game of the day, 3-2 Fabiano. He's got the white pieces. Another brand new setup. Now the bishops are not on the corners of the board. How are the players going to develop? Scandinavian. The first game of the day was also very similar, where there was a queen, but there was a knight. There was no knight that could go here. Well, these guys just straight up play a Scandinavian. But knight f6, knight e3 takes, and Fabiano gets a big center. Levon opts for a queenless middle game where he is just down a clean pawn, but he has counterplay, so maybe it's not so clean. And white has to waste a little bit of time. Knight e2, bishop c3, and yeah, I mean, Fabi's just a pawn up. But okay, a5. And Levon's looking to capture on c5. Fabiano brings his rook. Levon plays e6. Fabiano plays b3, solid structure, and now knight c5. Bishop c2. 3 pawns. 2 pawns for black and 4 on the other side. Knights and bishops. Remember, Levon's got to win this game. Not possible. What does he do? H5. Tries to just instigate. Generally a good rule of thumb to maybe try to get the rook into the game if it's possible and safe. Fabi says no, thank you. But that opens up the G4 square, which now Fabiano, you know, he trades and he's still solid. But the big question is, when black starts attacking with his pawns, is Fabiano going to be ready? King C7, King B2. There it is. And now the question is, will Fabiano be able to thwart Levon's counterattack? Take, and yeah, Fabi's up to the task. B4. I mean, just right away. Doesn't even let Levon think. Knight goes back to D7. The rook is centralized. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the D file. I'm looking at F7. I'm looking at B5 and Bishop E4. Take, and Levon just has to try to safeguard, but this is not what he wanted. He's down 30 seconds on the clock. And it is Fabiano Caruana walking into the black position, and he is ready to take what's his. It's been a damn long match, and this is his first lead of the day. Bishop d7, clean. Bishop to a4. Levon, oh, that's so desperate, but now the pawn gets to c6. The bishop goes back to c8. Who's going to guard the infiltration of the a file? Rook h5, rook d2. Knight f3. Fabi's got 7 seconds, though. Levon at 8 seconds. Bishop c4. He's got to trade that knight, Fabiano. Rook a1 check. And Levon cannot trade the rooks. So Fabiano walks his king to b4, and he's completely winning. Levon's got no time. Plays e5, and now Fabiano plays rook a8. Levon goes here, rook a7. Fabiano completely winning. Pushes his pawn to c7, rook to h8, and plays rook to b7, hanging the rook in one move. And he resigns the game, and Levon wins. By the way, Valentine's Day sale, 25% off. Check out the Scandinavian course. Even if you don't want to buy it, just check out the free sample. It's a really great course. I promise you will enjoy it. Knight takes b7. Fabiano's heart rate right here was 170. That's my heart rate when I play squash. Can you imagine? I'm not saying I'm like healthier. I'm saying I panic the exact same way. That is nuts. 170 is wild. And he plays rook b7. He just, I mean, already it's actually kind of difficult here after knight c5. He had to go rook f7. He had to get to the other side before going c7, and then he had to go after this pawn. If the king goes here, he has c7. If the rook goes back, his rook h7. It's tough, though. It's tough to spot this. He has no time. And he wins Levon. And now they got to play an Armageddon. And the way it works is, as you can see, I think they bid on it. And Fabiano starts with black. A draw is a win, but black has less time. So it's Armageddon, and I believe time is just going to tick down. It's just going to tick down. There is no more bonus time. Bishop d4. Remember, it's Armageddon. So white starts with a 40-second time advantage, but black gets the 2 results. Oh my god, this is absolutely insane. New position, by the way. This is chaos. Absolute chaos. Bishop d4, bishop h5. This is like poker. Knight e2. It's like craps at the casino. Bishop d7, bishop f3, and c5. And by the way, Levon is just down a minute. I mean, the guy is down a full minute in a format where the other guy can draw the game. And oh my goodness, that's bad news. That means that the setup was obviously much more difficult for white. Bishop c6, take. And yeah, Fabi right away from the beginning of the game has destabilized the white position. Levon is trying to make it a mess. Fabi takes, gets the knight into c4, takes on f3. Oh, that is absolutely brutal. Rook d3, knight b1, queen b1. He moves his rook out of the way. But Levon Aronian can play knight h5, and it is anybody's game. I mean, queen e4 is apparently winning for black. Levon takes on f6 and sacrifices the knight. Oh my goodness. King takes g7, knight h5 check. Fabiano clutch defending. Rook e2 is the counterpunch that he needed. And there you go. It is sealed, signed, and delivered. Not in that order. That is not actually how you say that. And then queen c8, the sniper, meets the king. f5, white, white can play f5, but there's a lot of ways to win here. And Fabiano wins the match 4-3 over Levon Aronian and qualifies to play in the finals against Magnus Carlsen. We're going to get Magnus Fabi a repeat of the 2018 World Chess Championship. Oh my goodness. I mean, this went on for hours. And Magnus Fabiano is the final match. Levon Aronian will play Nojibek Abdusattorov for 3rd and 4th. Ding Liren will play Vincent Keymer. And Alireza Firouzja is going to play Gukesh, I think. I will see you all tomorrow for the beginning of the finals. 25% off Valentine's Day sale for the next couple of days. Get out of here.